Hi, my name is Joslyn and this is Hershey, and today we'll be showing you a couple different wraps. Wraps are important in order to keep swelling down, keep wounds protected, and overall support and protection. We will be going over a hoof wrap, a standing wrap, a stack wrap, a polo wrap, and a wound wrap. The first wrap I'll be showing you is a polo wrap. Now, polo is a basic fleece-like material, and this is used mainly for protection so they don't rub against each other and things like that, or sometimes even decoration. It doesn't really have any support to it, so mainly polos are used for protection. So now I'm going to show you how to wrap it. When you wrap it, you always want to make sure the horse is aware that you're there, and you never want to kneel on the ground completely or sit on the ground when you're wrapping. So I'm going to just pet him, let him know I'm there, kind of bend down. Now, you never want to put the polo wrap directly on the back of his leg to start it, because then when you pull, that could pull in the wrong areas and not feel good for them. So what you want to do is you want to take that one piece. I like to kind of start it in the middle of that cannon bone there, and then grab the bubble wrap. When you kind of want to pull tight, but not too tight, and make nice round revolutions. What you're trying to do here is make equal revolution sizes, which can take practice, but you can just redo it if needed. And as you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't have a lot of wrinkles in it. Now, when you get to the bottom where the fetlock is, what you want to do is you want to kind of cup that back of the fetlock and come right back up. What we're looking for in the front is a nice V shape. See how we have a V shape right there, and it kind of aligns with his toe. So that kind of gives me a good indication that it's a good straight wrap. Keep wrapping it. And then once you get to the Velcro part, kind of want to pull nice and snug and wrap it on. Now your goal is to try to have the Velcro part on the outside of the leg, so that way if it was in the inside, it wouldn't rub and come off. So that is a polo wrap. The next wrap I'll be doing is a hoof wrap. Now, a couple of reasons why you'd want to do a hoof wrap is, let's say they've lost a shoe. Then you would just want a diaper, vet wrap, and duct tape. Now, if they have an abscess, hot nail, things like that, you would want to soak the foot in hot water and Epsom salt and betadine for about 15 minutes. And then you want to bring the foot out, you want to dry it off, and then in the diaper, you would want to put either Epsom salt and sugardyne or some type of drawing salve to get that abscess to come out. So the first step to doing so is, once again, making sure that they're okay with you being there, and making sure their hoof is clean. So I'm going to just pick his hoof out really fast to make sure it's cleaned before I wrap it. All right, and before I started videoing, I made my duct tape square. Now, I typically like to do about 5 to 7 across and down, just to make a nice little square, but it doesn't matter. What you want to do is line up the hoof to the size of the duct tape. You're going to need more duct tape anyways, but to make a basic square, you kind of just weave them in and out of each other, and that is all set. So after I make the square, I'm going to take my diaper and what you want to do is you want to put the toe in where the baby's butt would go. You want to wrap it up, and then you want these little blue tabs to crisscross on their heels. So let's go ahead and do that. And then, yep, you take these little blue tabs and just crisscross it on their heel. Now it's important to keep hold of their foot while they just have the diaper on, so that way this part doesn't get dirty. So the next part, what you want to do is you want to grab your vet wrap. And you just want to kind of start wrapping it around. You especially want to get the heel and the toe. The toe because that is where they'll be walking the most, and the heel is best for support. Now, as you're wrapping this, try to avoid the coronary band, but I'll show you a trick after we get this part wrapped to help cut it off so that way the coronary band has room to breathe. Then you take your scissors. She's being a really good boy. Now you still want to keep hold of the foot until the duct tape is on, just so as well this part doesn't get dirty or anything. So what you want to do is you want to kind of find the middle of that duct tape, just slap it on there, and let him put that toe down. So from this point, what I like to do is cut little angles so that way it can wrap around more easily at each little part of the duct tape. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to make it pretty, it just has to be effective. All right, so before I double layer it and secure it with more duct tape, I want to check to make sure the coronary band has room to breathe. So I check. His is down there a little bit, so I'm going to cut the diaper a bit more. When you're cutting, just make sure you pull the diaper away from their skin so that way you don't accidentally poke them. And what I like to do, I like to kind of just bend it down. We'll get more duct tape. And just kind of secure it. Now, like I said before, the two places you really want to secure with duct tape is the toe and the heel. So for this purpose of right now, since he doesn't really actually need this, I'm not going to put a bunch of duct tape and waste it. But what you'd want to do after everything is nice and wrapped would be to put more layers and a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 layers of duct tape on that toe and wrap it up like that. And that's a hoof wrap. The first wrap I'll be showing you is a polo wrap. Now, polo is a basic fleece-like material, and this is used mainly for protection, so they don't rub against each other and things like that, or sometimes even decoration. It doesn't really have any support to it, so mainly polos are used for protection. So now I'm going to show you how to wrap it. When you wrap it, you always want to make sure the horse is aware that you're there, and you never want to kneel on the ground completely or sit on the ground when you're wrapping. So I'm going to just pet him, let him know I'm there, kind of bend down. Now, you never want to put the polo wrap directly on the back of his leg to start it, because then when you pull, that could pull in the wrong areas and not feel good for them. So what you want to do is you want to take that one piece. I like to kind of start it in the middle of that cannon bone there, and then grab the bubble wrap. When you kind of want to pull tight, but not too tight, and make nice round revolutions. what you're trying to do here is make equal revolution sizes, which can take practice, but you can just redo it if needed. And as you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't have a lot of wrinkles in it. Now, when you get to the bottom where the fetlock is, what you want to do is you want to kind of cup that back of the fetlock and come right back up. What we're looking for in the front is a nice V shape. See how we have a V shape right there, and it kind of aligns with his toe. So that kind of gives me a good indication that it's a good straight wrap. Keep wrapping it. And then once you get to the Velcro part, kind of want to pull nice and snug and wrap it on. Now your goal is to try to have the Velcro part on the outside of the leg, so that way if it wasn't the inside, it wouldn't rub and come off. So that is a pull wrap. So we're going to take that Tolfa pad with that ointment on there, place it on his wound. Now it could go this way or this way, just depending on how big and which way the wound goes. And like the pull wrap, we're going to start from the inside, go to the outside. And you want to make sure it's nice and secure so it doesn't slip. But this one, you don't really have to worry about getting it too tight or anything like that. And then once you're satisfied with how much the Tolfa pad is covered, you're just going to cut it off and clean it to itself. Now, let's say he did actually have a wound. We would want to secure that with a standing wrap. So with the standing wrap, what you want to do is you want to get a pillow or quilt, something that has that squishiness to it, and you kind of want to measure it up against the cannon bone or wherever the owie is. And so this one fits him pretty well. And same thing like we've been doing, inside to outside. You want whatever's the inside of that wrap to go on the outside of your original roll. So place it there again, and it's okay if they move, just make sure you're holding it nice and secure. Now with the pillow, you want to wrap it where it's nice and tight, watching out for wrinkles. And then once you get it to this point, you want to take your track wrap, same deal with a pull, like a pull wrap. However, this time you want to make sure the revolutions are nice and tight and that there are absolutely no wrinkles in it. If there were to be wrinkles or it were to slide up or down, it could cause a cording and a bowed tendon, and it just would not end well. So once again, same way we've been wrapping this whole time. You want to leave about an inch at the top, just so that way if the track wrap were to move, let's hope not, it doesn't slip up onto their skin and rub. So as you're going around, you want to hold it nice and tight, stretching it, pulling down if you see any wrinkles. And this might take a couple of times if you don't know the size of your. So as you're going around, you want to hold it nice and tight, stretching it, pulling down if you see any wrinkles. And this might take a couple of times if you don't know the size of your wrap and the size of your pillow, just to make sure those revolutions are equally. And as you're going through, you just want to keep tugging, keep pulling, making sure everything's nice and tight. What we're looking for in this wrap is that there's even tension throughout the whole leg. And then once we get to the bottom of the wrap, or the bottom of the pillow, we also, same deal, we want to leave about an inch of pillow sticking out, just in case something were to happen. And in the back, unlike a pillow, you can't really cut the fetlock. So just kind of aim back up, but make sure you leave enough pillow out. Once again, get all those wrinkles out. And in the front, it's not going to be a perfect V because obviously you didn't wrap or cut the fetlock. However, we still want a little bit of a V. Now, when you're done, there's a couple different ways that we can check for tightness, and I'll show you in just a second. But once you finish, the goal here as well is to try to have the Velcro on the outside. However, it's not the end of the world if it's on the inside, because we can use masking tape to just wrap it around here for tonight's purposes. I won't do it, but you can just use a piece of masking tape and wrap it around. Now, a couple ways to check for tightness is you squeeze and you kind of feel it feels slip and slide. And another way is a flick test to see if there's even sound throughout the whole wrap. And that's a standing wrap. The next wrap I'm going to show you is the stack wrap. Now, stack wrap is for injuries in the back that happen from the knee or from the hock up, and in the front from the knee up as well. So for my purposes today, I'm going to tie up his tail to make the stack wrap easier in the back. So you could just do a nice little quick little knot to get that out of your way. Okay. And so now for the stack wrap, or standing wrap, sorry. Okay. Now for the standing wrap. We want a longer pillow for the bottom one and a shorter pillow for the top one. And I'm going to place his foot so that way I have space. Now, when you do a stack wrap, you want to make sure that your horse is going to be okay with that pressure. So just keep in mind that they could freak out because that is restricted joint movement in the back. So you just have to watch out for that. So let's get started. So with this one, like I said, you want a longer pillow at the bottom because you want more of an anchor. So the last one, we had it kind of above midway the pastern, but here we want it kind of at the bottom of the long pastern. We're going to go ahead and wrap that. Same deal with your pillow, making sure it's nice and tight. No wrinkles, even throughout the whole pressure. And then you get your track wrap and wrap it up as the same way you would do, leaving that inch or so above the pillow. Making sure there's no wrinkles. Now, if your horse does move, like Hershey just showed us, what you want to do is making sure you hold on nice and tight to the wrap so it doesn't loosen up. And it's totally okay if you have to do this over and over again. You just don't want to get cording to happen. Now, at the bottom, you can cut the fetlock a bit better than the last one. So go ahead and do that. Bring it up top. Continue your wrap, making sure it's nice and tight and even throughout the whole thing. you want to get your second pillow, another track wrap. You're going to need a total of 3 track wraps for this and 2 pillows. Okay. So this is the part where you really want to make sure safety is #1 priority. If they start freaking out, take it off as soon as possible. Now here, what you want to do is you want to overlap as much as you can. So trying to overlap that Velcro and also getting that hug. All right, and then with your wrap, you're going to wrap it just like you did the bottom one, not doing anything with the overlap quite yet. Once again, saving about 1 inch towards the top. Now since the hawk is so big and bulgy, you just want to make sure you're not going directly on the hawk when you're wrapping, just because that'll definitely restrict all the movement. But you want to save them a little bit, so you go up first. You want to correct all the wrinkles. You want to go back up like you would a normal wrap. Keeping that even pressure. Now at this point, you want to get some masking tape and just tape that first little bit. And then this is where your third track wrap comes into play. We're going to now connect the two. All right. You kind of want to start midway, a little bit below the Velcro of your top one. And you're just going to wrap it as if it's one giant one. You want to start as well below the hawk on the back, just so that way there's not extra pressure on that hawk. And as you're going down, it's really important to keep right. You kind of want to start midway, a little bit below the Velcro of your top one. And you're just going to wrap it as if it's one giant one. You want to start as well below the hawk on the back, just so that way there's not extra pressure on that hawk. And as you're going down, it's really important to keep that pressure tight and also watching out for those wrinkles. And then once you're below the hawk, I would say about 1 or 2 more revolutions, depending on how long your track wrap is. And then when you get to about here, you want to start going back up, around that hawk again, making sure everything's nice and tight and wrinkle free. And then you can go ahead and cover up that Velcro if you need to again, depending on your wrap, obviously. And then to finish it off, you're going to want elastic on at the top and bottom of the wrap, So, important thing with Alaska Con is since it's not very stretchy, you want to try to get as much of it as you think you need before putting it on the actual hoof. So I think I need about this much. You want to cut it off. All right. And then, so let's do the toe first. And what you're looking for, there should be a little red line on the elasticon. You're going to put half of it on that wrap and half of it on the toe. And wrap it all the way around and seal it up nicely. Now this is for, that way dirt doesn't really get into it or anything like that. Same deal up top. Grab it. You want it half on the skin, half on the pillow. And then cut it. You just never want to actually pull it once it's on the horse, just because it can pull the skin out, it can pull the wrap. Just really want to watch it. Once again, that red line, half on the pillow, half on him. And that is your standing wrap. Now that we've gone over those wraps, I hope you feel safe and confident in wrapping your own horse, and I hope you have a good day.